So the very first thing we're going to make is an infusion. And it's so simple. I'm sure you've all made infusions before, but there's a few little things that I like to focus on. First of all, for my infusions and my decoctions, I use water that is free of fluoride and chlorine. And so I either use water from, my Brita filter that's on the tap, or I would use a bottled water. I don't drink tap water, and I don't make my infusions or herb teas with tap water. So we have filtered water in the jug. I usually use a teapot, but you can use a pot or a bowl or just a regular jug. You don't have to have a teapot, so don't feel like, I don't have a teapot, I can't make infusions. And our standard recipe, and again there's variations on these things, our standard recipe is 1 ounce of herb to 1 pint, or roughly 500 millilitres. And I've given you a conversion chart at the back of your notes, because I grew up with mils and grams, and most of America is still on pints and ounces, and so yeah, we have to talk the same language. So if I'm telling you a measurement that you don't understand, have a look at your conversion chart. So roughly 1 ounce to 1 pint, or 500 mils, and whenever I give you measurements, I'm talking dried herbs. That's the other thing I want you to remember. Now, that's not to say that I only work with dried herbs, I don't. I will go out and pick fresh chickweed and make fresh chickweed tea, but I'm going to double the quantity. I'm going to have 2 ounces of fresh. Can anyone think why that might be? Basically, when you pick a fresh plant, it's got a lot of water in it, and so that's going to reduce the therapeutic effect of your end product. So you want to double the quantity of fresh. If I'm making like an ointment of fresh herbs, I'll always leave my herbs to wilt for about 4 hours. Because not in the sun, just somewhere that's dry where they can just sort of, wilt a little, because you want that water to start evaporating out. So we're going to make tonight a lemon balm infusion. And my lemon balm is here under my notes. Lemon balm. I chose lemon balm because I wanted to choose something that I thought you would have in your gardens, and that's just so easy to grow. I mean, lemon balm, the Latin name for lemon balm is Melissa officinalis. Now, anything that has the word officinalis on the end of it means the official remedy of a pharmacopoeia. Now, the pharmacopoeias were like, there's a British pharmacopoeia, there's an American pharmacopoeia. They were like the standard pharmacy textbooks of the era. Now, they're still printed. It's not that they were, they are still printed, but generally now you don't have botanicals in your pharmacopoeias. You have some, and you have some essential oils still, but it's not as full as the older version. So usually, I think right up until about the 1940s, pharmacopoeias had a lot of information. So officinalis on the end of a name just means the official plant. And if you're buying herbs in the nursery, it's a good idea to buy by the Latin name. Don't just rely on the common name, because there's a lot of varieties now of, there's a lot of different lavenders. There's so many lavenders, I can't keep up with them. And there's a lot of different, basils and all sorts of herbs that are not necessarily the therapeutic official variety. So we have got lemon balm. You may also see it just as balm. And we've already measured out 2 ounces. And so we're going to use all of this, and we're going to put it with how much water? 2 yeah. But you know, I'm going to weigh it just because we're going to be precise tonight and just see how an infusion tastes rather than a tea. A tea is usually less strong. So a tea you could do, you know, like a teaspoon of this to a cup of water, and it's a less potent brew. So when we're talking infusion, we're talking a therapeutic preparation. For scales, you don't have to have anything fancy, but I use, you know, any regular household scales will do. But what we use to measure our herbs is this ACHS.edu set of scales, which I find pretty good, pretty accurate. And obviously when you're making more technical preparations, you want something that is going to be accurate. So, we want it on ounces, we don't want it on grams. And we'll see if we have 2 ounces, I'm pretty sure we do. Oh, did you give me more? Oh no, I was looking 19. It's 1.995 for Heather. She's like, no. Okay, good. When I looked down on it, I missed the decimal point. So we're going to put our herb into our teapot, and notice it's fairly well cut. If it was more whole, I would possibly cut it a little bit. But in this circumstance, where it's fairly finely cut to begin with, we're going to leave it. Great, we are preparing a lemon balm, Melissa officinalis, that's the Latin name, infusion, and we have 2 ounces of the dried plant in our teapot. And because we're being very specific tonight about our what we're making, I'm going to measure the water to ensure that we have 1,000 mils. And I have to find the grip, so hard to get the. So I'm going to measure this, and you know, it means that it's not going to be on the boil, which I don't want. So we then have to get rid of the rest of our water. Pour this back in here. And you know, normally you wouldn't have to be this fussy, but as I said, I want you to taste the infusion with the precise quantity of ingredients. So you can get an idea of what a medicinal infusion should taste like. And I mean, you may even want to try making a balm tea and see the difference. So we have 1,000 mils of water. I'm just going to bring that to the boil. We're going to take our teapot to the water, and we learned why we do that. If we take our water to the teapot, this goes off the boil, and you lose some of the effectiveness of using really, really boiling water. I love these jugs. These are not common in the United States, electric jugs. We use these all the time in New Zealand, so I had a really difficult time finding one. You know, because normally you boil water with a kettle here on the stove. Very archaic. Okay. We know we use all of it. And put the lid on, we'll give it a squish, and we're going to leave that for 10 minutes. So we steep it for 10 minutes. So at 7:30, somebody stop me if I forget, we're going to pour some lemon balm infusion and see what a medicinal infusion tastes like.